Well, hi YouTubers. Okay, I'm back with another Physics 100 books, and it's Memory Keepers by Natasha Ngan. Now, I read her debut novel, The Elites, a few reviews back, and now I totally praised her storytelling abilities. I found the story a little bit underdeveloped. The concept could have been a trilogy in itself, and I liked the world, but I wanted to see a bit more of it. Natasha actually reacted to my comment and actually thanked me for it, which actually threw me because in the times I've actually been doing my reviews, that never happened. I never actually responded back because it kind of freaked me out a bit. I mean, end of the day, it wasn't the most, you know, this was a great day for a debut novel. I gave her reviews. It was a brilliantly written book, and I actually do recommend The Elites just for her storytelling ability. This, however, is a much stronger book. It's the Memory Keepers, obviously. Now read the blurb on the back because this is more my kind of thing. Because I was watching the Hunger Games with a friend of mine who's American, who was really, really into it. But I did point out to her, listen, it's hard to get emotionally invested in this world as much as you because you're American. This is yours, okay? I'm a Londoner. Obviously, the accent gave that away. I'm a West Londoner, and so it's more up my alley. Okay, I'll read the blurb. In a future London where the divide between rich and poor is wide, teenager Seven makes a living by stealing the hottest commodity around. Valuable human memories from banks, vaults and rich people's houses in the city. When he is caught in the act by Alba, daughter of London's most infamous criminal prosecutor, he never expected her to keep his secret, let alone touch his heart. But Alba and Seven are bonded by their sense of isolation, and though their lives are starkly different, a sense of justice and survival strengthens their powerful connection. The Seven stumbles across a secret about his own memories and a horrifying government experiment as relationship with Alba is put to the ultimate test. Okay? Yeah. First of all, this book actually gets its cues from British mythology because Alba is definitely a direct reference to Albion, which is one of the earliest names to Great Britain. I noticed that the moment I picked up the book. Okay? Albion is our earliest name for these beautiful British Isles, as they say. So, this book is really, really good because at the end of the day, put it down one second. It describes London, and it's London in 2144. It's decimated, it's dark, it's bleak. North and south divide, literally divided by a bridge, rich and poor. And I absolutely love the descriptions of this desolate decay in London, which just sounds a little bit strange, but when it's your own city, you kind of get a smug feel out of it. Also, when you write a book about London, as a Londoner, you've got to get it right. Okay, you've got to get it right. I've read so many books about London by people who've never even been to the city, and you can tell. There's one, I read this years ago in my teens, but I was on the floor laughing my head off. The book was terrible. But essentially, it says, she goes out of Paddington, okay, and walks to Hyde Park. Not possible. You need to get a bus or a tube. You can't walk to Hyde Park from Bandon. Or this is one of my favourites. Okay, she mixes up the difference between the South Bank and the Embankment. Now, just to put this in perspective, okay, South Bank is where the Tate is. It is where the London Eye is where the Globe is. It's where the Aquarium is. Okay, the Embankment is the House of Parliament, and she mixes up the two. It's little things like that. Okay, there's one, oh my god, it was a really, really rubbish book, and it was a trashy Mills and Boon. It's about this woman, she's from Australia, and she goes to London for the first time, and she freaks out about the inability to use a tube. Listen, the London Underground, I'm saying this as a Londoner, okay, the London Underground, I don't find it intimidating, because obviously it's my city, okay, but, you know, it's not that difficult to navigate the London Underground once you get your head around it. Alright? And then she talks about going into Hyde Park. Yeah, fine, Hyde Park's beautiful. But having a casual stroll into the pet cemetery that's there. I've never visited the pet cemetery at Hyde Park because it's like 50 odd quid to get in. I'm just going to link to it under it, okay? And I've got the money, I'm a Londoner, okay? Once again, London is very much rich or poor city, okay? I'm somewhere in the middle, I think. But I do love it. So, but this gets it right. It doesn't over-describe things. You get the sense of the world around it just by little physical descriptions, okay? Like being a restaurant by St. Paul's. The St. Paul's has survived. There's this little bit here I absolutely loved, which is not an error, okay? But this I absolutely love because I know better, see, from my teenage years. No more about that. Right. Seven New London's black market had been lucky to get such a perfect venue for its blackest skid market practically handed to it. Before this, they used the sewers. It was pretty glad it'd been before his time. The power station had been badly damaged in the 2089 Thames flooding. Renovation works had been forced to a halt, and after years of subsequent floods, the project had finally been abandoned. Okay? So, I love this. It calls it a power station, but however, in only a couple of years ago, the power station was maybe turned to flats. But I like the idea, okay, that these flats were never renovated, okay? And it doesn't actually mention the power station's usage. I mean, Battersea always going to be a power station, even though it's now which does expensive flats. And I absolutely love that kind of thing. She's done the research about London. At the same time, that I would like a little bit more description of London. That's because I'm a Londoner. I'd like to see a little bit more of it. Okay, not how North and South divide. I wanted to see Oxford Street and Piccadilly and Trafalgar Square and Leicester Square and is Soho still there and what's Soho still like? That kind of thing. So, but these two characters, Alba and Seven. Now, you could say that their being together is part of a contrived coincidence. Or I could actually argue right here right now it's part of the mythical quality of the actual book. Once again, Alba being Albion. Because the whole idea of skid mark of the skids. Now, the memory keepers is the memories. This is a world where you can basically save your memories. Memories are saved on chips and then stolen and then transferred and backed up and used for blackmail. The description of that I did find a little bit vague. However, I actually like the vagueness, if you will. Okay, there's a bit kind of ambiguity of what is going on, and I really liked that. Now, one thing I also liked is the description of the characters and their clothes. Alba wears silks, which is not a typical thing to wear for a school uniform. She's rich, she's lush, she's posh. She is, once again, mythical qualities and fairy tale qualities. Cinderella and Rapunzel gets a mention. She's literally the person in the ivory tower. She can't get out. She's trapped. She can't go anywhere. She has Dolly, her kind of like maidservant, who's always following her around. She craves freedom. Also, Seven has freedom, but he has no family structure. And I like the fact that, okay, this guy from Skid Row, if you will, and this Princess in the Ivory Tower meet and connect. And there is a love story going on. And yes, you can call it contrived or coincidental, but at the same time, Natasha has this gift as an author, okay? She can actually take things from two different narrative perspectives and make you believe in both of them, Seven's and Alba's. And I really like that. Because the fact is that both of them are part of this kind of like mythical kind of journey, and neither of them realise it. There's a hint to Alba at the beginning, basically saying, okay, you'll be a part of this brave new world, which gives a hint to something bigger. Now, we don't really see that really bigger thing, okay, but it gives that hint to something a little bit more. Seven, even though he's on Skid Row, he's had people surrounding him, keeping an eye on him his entire life, and no spoilers here, okay, but he's not alone in his journey. I really like that. Now, this bit, okay, this bit. This is chapter 7, sorry, chapter 17, and it's from Seven's point of view. Each chapter alternates. It took a lot longer than usual to get to Chelsea Harbour because Alba kept stopping on the way, gasping at every little thing. It was just as though she'd never seen a city before. Or maybe it was just a city at night, Seven thought, with starlit streets. Everything brushed in a soft glow of the streetlights. There was a kind of magic to it. Anything a stuck-up North princess like her would have cared. Maybe there were certain kinds of magic in this world that everyone couldn't help but notice. Isn't it beautiful? The girl whispered, gazing around the north streets as they headed for the river. Seven smirked and muttered under his breath, just wait till you see the south. That kind of thing. Now, even how they meet is kind of like, it's this weird kind of meet cute, if you will. Seven has been given the job to break into the Hyde Park Manor House, okay, the mansion where Alba lives with her parents, and steal this memory chip, meets Alba, and then she potentially blackmails him to say, I will keep your secret, I won't tell anyone, as long as you take me out, you take me into the south, you take me in to see real London, in a way it's desolate and dark, and Seven agrees. Now, Seven could have just kept his mouth shut and run, but he actually agrees to take her. Once again, mythical qualities here, soulmates, whatever. So, which shows his good heart and he's noble. When I'm bloody impressed with this book. Natasha Ngan is really kind of, especially when you read the debut novel to the next one, you can see how the author grows. She's grown so much as an author in the second book. I know her third one's out as well. This, however, does not have a sequel. And I'd love to see a sequel. I want to see more of London. Yes, biased Londoner, I know. So, biased Londoner. But, hey. So, I really, really recommend The Memory Keepers by Natasha Ngan. It came out a few years ago, but it's so worth a read. Especially if you're a Londoner like myself. Okay? Or if you're not, just read it, damn book. It's really good. So, Natasha, we're down to your second book. And take care, YouTubers. 365 100 book sign off. And bye now.